Okay, I'm going to mute everybody.
Wonderful.
Oh, I've muted you as well. Hang on.
Welcome. It is so good to see you all today. I'm going to spotlight myself until we're ready to take a picture, just so it'll make it a little bit easier for you to see me. And if everybody will mute themselves, or yeah, good. I think I just got it. So it's so good to see old friends and new friends, and thank you so much for joining to do this hopefully fun basket workshop where we'll learn a lot. And I know most of y'all have been dancing all day already, so we won't be too rough. Without waiting any longer, let me go over basket positions, and then I'll get us warmed up. I hate to do all the warm up and then stop and talk for a minute, so let's go over basket first. So get whatever you're using as your basket, whether it's your microwave food tray cover or your actual basket. So I like to use the 16-inch ones that are 16-inch in diameter. And the reason is because when I'm in a left arm hold, it creates a nice line so that I still have the Fat Chance posture line with the basket. If I have a smaller basket, then it makes my elbow bend more. And then if I have a larger basket, I lose control of it. You know, like there's not enough for me to keep control of. So you may decide based on the length of your arms that a different basket works better, and that's fine. In Dainishma, when we were performing with baskets, we really like all our baskets to be the same size for the visual that it created. So there's several basket holds, and I know some of y'all are basket veterans, but let me go over for folks who are not. So this is the left arm hold. I am clasping my fingers over the edge of my basket, and that's how I'm maintaining control of the basket. And it rests right below the top of my shoulder. So we used to call it the left shoulder hold, but that's a little bit, that was encouraging people to do this. And you lose the control that you gain when you are holding it against your shoulder, and also holding it against your arm like this helps you remember to keep it level. So we realized it really is more of a left arm than a left shoulder. You don't want the basket sitting on your shoulder. You want the basket resting on your arm is more. The two-hand hold, I have my fingers underneath, and I have usually my thumbs on top. And I like to have my thumbs so that they can, you know, both pinch it so I don't lose it, but also to help me control it, however I need to control it. So in the two-arm hold, the basket is under our coin bra because we don't want to cover it up. Not all that money and time that goes into that costuming. And our elbows are definitely engaged. And I think this is one of the tricky parts about basket, is it's so easy when you get tired to hold the basket like this. But, you know, maintaining that posture is really important. And then, of course, we have the balance. And balance really depends, it just takes practice. Like there's nothing magical about it. You just have to practice. One of the things that I like to do when I get a new basket, this is like my very favorite basket that is my preferred dancing basket, is I take something heavy and I wet the basket just a little bit, and then I place something heavy on it. And that creates just, I don't even know if you can see it on the video, it creates just the slightest little divot where my head goes. So you can absolutely use head wraps, headbands, you know, those will help with traction on the basket. I don't really have an opinion about that. Use whatever works for you. I have a pretty good head for props in that it's kind of flat on the top, and there actually is a little divot in my skull right where the sword's supposed to go. So I usually don't use head stuff because I don't have to. But like Ming, who some of y'all know, who was in Dionysia with me, she almost always uses a head wrap because her head just is not shaped the same way, and it makes it much harder. So you do you, whatever works, no preference for me. So let's talk about transitioning the basket from one hold to the other. In my last workshop, I didn't spend time at the beginning, and then we kept having to stop and talk about it, which is fine. Absolutely ask questions as we go. So the way that I transition the basket when I'm in a two-hand hold is I straighten my fingers, and then I press into the basket as I rotate it so that it's resting in that space between my fingers and my palm. And then it can go overhead. And then as I'm coming back, I'm hooking my thumbs as I'm bringing my fingers so that I have control over it again. So you don't have to transition the basket that way, but that's the way I transition the basket. It's kind of like, for me, transitioning basket is a little bit like the moves that we say turn, but it doesn't matter what your feet are doing. So the same for basket. Your goal for the basket is when it's horizontal is to have it be truly horizontal, not wonky. And when it's overhead horizontal, to have it be flat, not tipping one way or another. So you figure out how that works for you. Sometimes my fingers do come down over it. Like if I'm getting ready to do roundhouse, then, you know, there's a lot of switching back and forth as the basket comes back and forth. So I'm going to grab that basket every time I switch it so I don't lose it. So that would be how I would switch up in terms of just transitioning the basket with my hand. So let's talk about the moves that we use to get the basket into different positions. So this is not going to be surprising at all. You know, we'll use a shimmy. We'll move it to our left shoulder in 4 counts, out to the arm out to the side in 4 counts. You can go into Arabic, basket to your left shoulder, arm out. You can, there are certain moves that I'm going to teach you that transition the basket, but those are like the simple ways to do it. You can be in a shimmy and do it much faster, although, you know, everything we do is about making sure we're communicating clearly with our followers. So I personally never change basket positions in less than 8 counts because it could be that my followers aren't going to catch it. And when you're dancing with a prop, as those of y'all who know that do prop work, it makes a big difference. Like, you know, if I'm going into Arabic regularly and somebody's behind, it's not as obvious. If I'm going into Arabic like this with a big old basket and somebody doesn't catch my cue, then it's going to be much more obvious. So making sure you're a good leader and you're signaling well is really critical with a basket because it is so big and it, you know, you see it. So if I want to go into balance in fast, then I would, you know, get into a shimmy. The basket position when my basket is overhead is literally over my head. So the basket should be centered over the top of my head. And then I just bring it down. And same thing, and my basket is even, there's something about the way this camera is making it look uneven, but, and then, you know, give your followers time to balance. You can also, of course, balance it with Arabic. Just bring it down, make sure everybody's ready, you know, and it's just like balancing swords. You don't want to balance too quickly, even if you're really good at balancing, because then it makes the audience think, oh, that must be easy, and it's not easy. Okay, questions about just the basics of moving the basket around before we warm up and kind of jump into it? Awesome. So the music today, for the workshop is both Afrit Temple from the Dionysia 1 and 2 CDs, but also a new group that I've been using some called Tribal from the Trap, and I have permission to teach with both of their music. So we'll probably start fast with the Afrit Temple stuff, and then go to, when we switch to slow basket, go to the Tribal from the Trap. So just follow along for the warm-up. Doesn't matter if you do it exactly the way that I do it, just about getting our bodies warm. Okay, keep warming up if you don't feel warm enough. Otherwise, we are going to get to it. So, what I'm going to be teaching you today is just a small portion of the basket dialect. We'll get in everything we can in 2 hours, and what I decided to do is, for the most part for fast, I'm going to teach you a couple of moves in a family that have the same hold, just so that we won't be transitioning quite so much. But know that if you're super interested in delving into Fast Basket in particular, Dawn and I do have the online on-demand class, so you can always get more with that. And then I'm probably going to do something else basket related, either a weekly class or a 30-30 and 20-20 challenge or something. So let's talk about Arabic. So for Arabic, we cue the Arabic with a basket by a low dip and then bringing it up. So of course my fingers are transitioning from, here to here as I bring it up for Arabic. We do Arabic double turn with a basket, so we are trying to keep the arc going up in 8 counts, just so we're super clear with everybody. So it's vertical low belly, and then as you come up, horizontal, and then it stays horizontal. Yep. And then, you can do all of the things that you would normally do with Arabic. You can turn, you can move forward, you can move back, whatever. Arabic hip twist is a fun move with the basket. And you have the same sort of scoop that you have in regular Arabic, but you do it faster. So you do it in 2 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, of course, you can do it to the side. And you can even cue the flourish with the basket. And then we do the basket horizontal overhead, and then, go right back into it, or do whatever else out of it. So for me, the trick to basket is to remember which moves stay horizontal and which moves go vertical. But the Arabic hip twist stays horizontal when you cue the flourish, horizontal. So regular Arabic, vertical to horizontal, do whatever you want with it. And then Arabic hip twist, the quick scoop, cue the flourish, stay horizontal. Okay, and when we get into more complicated moves, I will turn backwards, but for these, I think we're fine with me staying forward. Okay, the next one I'm going to teach in the Arabic family is really one of my favorite moves in general, but it's certainly one of my favorite basket moves, and it's Arabic double turn. So let me show you what it looks like, and then I'll break it down from a basket perspective. So we can actually start this two arm or left arm, and I'll show you both ways to do it. And then after we finish with this move, we'll drill all of our Arabic family before we go on. So that's what I'm going to do. I didn't say that at the beginning, but teach a few moves, then we'll drill, then I'll teach a few moves, then we'll drill. So let me break down Arabic double turn from the back, because I think that's the easiest way. So we do our Arabic cue and go up into 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just like if we were doing the Arabic double turn and we were cueing the spin by dropping our arm, we drop the basket in front of us to cue the spin and then back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, let me make sure I'm saying this right. Chest 5, 6, left arm on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at my chest level. And then on 7, I'm going to move it to my left shoulder. And I'm still going to hold on to it until I put my arm up on 8 to spin on 1 or 9, however you count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, drop or cue 5, 6, 7, 8, and then spin. And then I'm going to grab the basket again and bring it to 2 hands as I finish the Arabic. So one more time. I don't know. Let me do it like here so you can see my front and my back. 1, 2, 3, 4, cue 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I end up, you know, in this kind of weird sort of hand thing, but then I, you know, just adjust my hands. So however you have to hold on to the basket to get it above your head for those 4 counts, and then you can always kind of slyly adjust your fingers as you're going. So any questions about how to do those moves before we drill those moves? You're gonna have to unmute yourself because I have me on and I can't see everybody.
Can I see when you go from here to here and your arms passing, can I just see you from the front where?
Yes.
So
Let me do,
you're blocking your face, were you?
yeah, let me do the whole thing from the front now that you know how to do it so you can see those details. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, turn, da, da. So yeah, my right arm does cross over my face and block it for a second. You know, the important thing from an arm perspective is that you don't have the weak elbow as you're bringing up. So you don't want the bring up to be, you know, you want your elbow engaged when you're going for the basket and your elbow to stay engaged. So then basically as my elbow moves across, it's just for a split second that you're crossing your face. Does that help?
Yeah, that's really beautiful and not floppy like me.
Well, yeah, but remember, like, you know, oh, here's Jory. I'm going to admit her. Hey, Jory. You know, I've been doing basket for a decade now. So it takes a lot of practice to get that upper body strength to be able to hold the basket, you know, and make sure that your elbows are staying engaged and your, you know, like it just takes a lot of practice. So be easy on yourself.
No fear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what I like to do whenever I'm developing a new skill and I don't quite have the muscle memory or muscle strength yet to do it, is just to, when I start moving into poor technique, so if I find myself going for the basket and I realize that, you know, like my right arm is a noodle, then I just stop and put it down and I just kind of mark it in my head and visualize it so that I don't get the body memory imprinted wrong, you know, so that every time I do Arabic double turn, I have strong elbows, strong arm. If I can't do it strong, then I just like say, okay, I'm gonna give my body a rest, you know, just kind of go through it in your head. That's my technique. Okay, let's drill it. And then you may have other questions after we drill, you know, because that happens after we. So what I'll do is I will mostly drill to the back, or, you know, with you guys having my back. But I'll turn around at the end. And if you want to stop and watch anything, like watch how I do it, because as you were drilling, it got confusing, then please, obviously feel free to do that. little fast. Let me put on a slower. That might be our sweet speed. That's a little bit better than the first. Okay, questions from the drilling on those Arabic moves?
So when you do the flourish in Arabic hip twist, are you trying to have the basket above your head before you start turning, or are you gradually bringing the basket up as you turn?
That's a good question. Let me see. So I'm bringing it up as I step to turn.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I'm bringing it up as I turn.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I had to do it to see, which I do, because I can't just tell you without doing it. Okay, ready to move on? I know we're going to hit it fast, but like I said at the beginning, and some of y'all might not have heard this, but I am going to save the recording, and you can have access to it for a month if you want to go back and review things. And the other thing that I forgot to say that I want to make sure to say is that one of the things that I do when I'm teaching online, which is everything right now, is I offer video feedback to my students. So if you want to record yourself doing any of this and send it to me, I'm happy to give you video feedback for free just as part of this workshop. So I'm not going to do that 300 times, but if you want to send me stuff and let me look at it, because that's kind of the way that I deal with the fact that I can't see you and give you correction while we're going. So, okay, ready? 2-2 pivot bump family, here we come. So, double back, and 2-2 pivot bump family, we're going to focus on left arm hold. So double back is one of those moves that we use to get the basket off of our left shoulder. So let me show you what it looks like, and then I'll break it down for you. Okay, I know that double back is supposed to be a continuous arm movement. And I also know that the goal is to have the basket go continuous. However, to teach this, it's going to be next to impossible for me to teach it without placing some pauses in there. So I'm going to place some pauses just for instruction, so it'll make it easier for all of us. So first, let's talk about the arm path that it goes in, because it's just a circle. So I grab the basket from my left shoulder to bring it into two hands, and I cross over, and then I lift, and I come back down to the left and I cross over. So that is the basket arm pattern. Let me do it from this side. So I'm in left shoulder hold. I grab the basket. I cross the front of me. I come around and up the right side, overhead, down the left side. And this is what's happening with the basket while we are doing the double back feet. It is completely a brain twister. And think about when you were first learning double back and how hard it was to get this whole thing going. But basket, if you can get it in your head, it's actually easier because you're just doing a circle. You don't have to remember which arm is up, which arm is down, all of that. So when I'm going into double back from left arm hold position, my cue is the exact same. And you know, you do this cue how your dance community does the cue. I was trained to do it with a slight step. Now the people that are coming back from general skills and teacher training are doing it with a complete turn to the side. I don't care how you do it. Whatever your dance teacher, however they're telling you to do it, that's how you cue it, just however you would normally do it. So cue the double back. And then when you're getting ready for the left hip part, you're going to bring your arm down and grab the basket. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, grab basket, hip 7, 8. Now I'm holding on to the basket tightly because I'm about to swing it around and I don't want to swing it into my neighbor's head. When it's time to step right again, I'm bringing the basket across the front of me and I am covering up my bra here. So I am more shoulder blade, or yeah, not shoulder blade. This is your, chest, more upper chest area. I'm not trying to go from here and scoop down. I'm just bringing it straight across. So as I'm going to my right and around, left and around, right and around, left and around. So you get in the basket pattern with the foot pattern. Because the basket is supposed to be moving the whole time, it isn't exact, but in general, when I'm doing my right part of the double back, I'm making this part of the circle. And when I'm doing the left part of my double back, I'm making this part of the circle. But like everything else in improv, watch your leader. So let's try it again. I'm going to go into Arabic and then get the basket in the left arm position. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready to cue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab the basket, cross the front, overhead, swoop around, back to front. Cross the front, overhead, down to the left, back to front. Okay, is everybody getting that pattern? And of course, we can add the half turn, and just don't let this psych you out. It's just the same, just like when we were learning it in the first place. So I'm going to cue the half turn when I grab the basket, but the basket is still going to cross the front to the left and still going to go overhead. Finish at the back, and then when it's time to go to the front again, it's still going to cross the front, finish overhead. How's that? I know, this is a hard one. Okay, questions before we just do it a few times? Okay, y'all have to stop me if I'm going too fast, or if I'm going too slow, then tell me that too. Yeah.
Can we see the half turn again, please?
Oh, of course, yes. Okay. So you just got to remember the basket is making a circle around your head. And drop the feet if you need to practice the basket with the arms, because you know the feet, so you can add the feet in. You know the feet, so that that'll be a easy fix after the workshop if it's breaking your brain today.
Can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Of course, yeah.
What's the cue for the half turn?
It's still the head glance.
Just the head, right? Okay, I didn't
Still
see
the
that.
head. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank
Let's
you.
see.
Oh, right, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the angle that I'm at.
I was concentrating on the basket.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'm going to go to roundhouse. Okay, whew, y'all are doing great. Okay, roundhouse is, I think, a pretty simple one. You just have to remember horizontal to vertical. So let me show you what it looks like. So it stays horizontal for the first rotation, and then on and, so as I'm coming up the side, I'm doing a little bit of hand maneuvering because I know I'm getting ready to flip the basket. And then on and, I flip it to vertical, and then I'm holding on for dear life because I don't want to toss it at anybody. And then I do the second rotation vertical, and then go into whatever else. So the only tricky part about this is to make sure that as you're coming up the left side, that what I do is I take my right hand and put my fingers over the top of the basket and put my right thumb on the bottom so that on and I can flip it and hold on to it. So that's the only tricky part about this, is just that hand position. So 5, 6, 7, 8, horizontal, and vertical. And then you can go into whatever you want. So one more time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it looks so cool when you catch the and. Lee Marcus and I performed Roundhouse Duet at Reunion this year, and had the basket flip on the and it's so awesome. So questions about Roundhouse and how you get from here to here. If you need to, practice going up this left side and adjusting your grip so that you're ready to flip. The other thing that I wanted to say, and I don't know how clear I was about this, but we talked about elbow engagement here, but you also want to make sure you have elbow engagement here. I talked about how your basket should naturally come down on your head. Well, to do that, you have to make sure that your elbows are engaged and pulled back so that you're not in this kind of elbow position. And I mentioned it for roundhouse because it's really easy when you're doing roundhouse with a basket to let your elbows not be like that, because you're lugging this basket around and it's heavy and your arms are tired. So this is a good move to check in and just make sure that your elbows are staying pulled back and engaged, because it makes all the difference in the world in how the move looks when you execute it if your elbows are strong. Okay, questions about roundhouse? Okay, we're going to learn one more before we drill, and that is choo-choo arc. And that is, I think you're going to find it's a pretty easy one. So we start from overhead down to below the chest, slight lift of the outside lip of our basket, and then bring it to low belly for the turn. So here's what it looks like. And then back and around to go into it again or to do whatever else you want to do. So let me do it from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, a little flip, and you count it however you want to, a little flip, and then low belly, and then back, switch it from vertical to horizontal as you come back overhead. So horizontal, cue with a little outside towards the audience, basket, flip, down to vertical, low belly, back up to horizontal as you come up the left side. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can go into whatever you want. I'm going to do it towards you just so you can see now that you know how to do it. Elbows engaged. Drop to, you know, showing your coin bra again. Slight flip to cue, low belly, and then around. Flip, around. So see, that one just feels right. It just feels like, you know, you don't really have to add much adjustment to that. You just have to remember that after the flip, you turn low belly. And that's pretty consistent with the way that we do basket is pulling it vertical and low belly when we're turning. I won't say we do that every single time because then I'll come across a move and I'll be like, oh, that didn't work, but mostly. Okay. Questions about any of those 3 moves before we drill them?
Yeah, Lisa. So
Yeah.
on the choo-choo forward, are you angling to the side plane like you would without
Yep.
a basket, or are
Yep.
you staying with so you're presenting more forward?
Yeah,
with the basket?
so I'm trying to have my hip and my boob, you know, where I'm bumping towards yeah. But to hold the basket vertically, that's a really good question. Because when we're doing it for real, we don't have to bring this hand and this hand together. But to hold the basket, we do have to bring them together. So by virtue, then our chest is going to stay lifted, but it is going to be more presented to the audience than it would on the move in general. That's an excellent, excellent question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, y'all ready? Whew. Get a drink. I realize y'all aren't talking the whole time as I am, but okay. So let's go back to followed by foxes, and we'll drill double back, roundhouse, and choo-choo arc. stretch. Whew. How's everybody doing? Doing okay? Good, looks good. So, some of y'all I can see practicing it. Look good, Kay. Okay. So let's make sure that we do a little bit of fast balancing before we switch to the slow. I like how I'm doing this. I'm getting the fast out of the way, and then we'll switch to the slow, and it'll be so nice. But I want to make sure that we do some balancing, because balancing with basket is a little bit intuitive, which moves you can do. And basically, you do whatever moves you can keep the basket balanced for. But I do want to show you our technique for doing fast moves with turns when we have a basket balanced. So, you know, we talked about basking the balance, balancing the basket, and how you want to take your time. You can use shimmy, you can use Arabic, whatever you want. You know, shoulder shimmy, hip drop. You can add a level in there. That's nice with a basket. You want to be careful about turning your head and make sure you have control over it. You know, if not, just use a glance. That's fine too. But what about the moves like box step or Gwazi combo, where we're going to be moving with the basket? So this is where we use what I call a basket hold. So if we're doing box step, for example, and we want to cue a turn, then before we turn, we take our left hand and we grab the basket. Now I am doing more than holding the basket to make sure it doesn't fly off. I am putting pressure on the basket on my head so that it does not move around my balance spot, because I have a balance spot and I'm trying to not let the basket shift at all when I turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, cue the turn, grab, and release. And what allows me to be able to grab and release that fast is that putting pressure on my basket. So as you can see, my fingers are, you know, gripping it and pushing it down into my head. So when I do, you know, Gwazi half turn, we can pull off the quarter turn part with the basket just fine, no big deal. But when we get ready to cue the half turn, on and, grab the basket. Press the basket into your head so that by the time you're finished with the half turn, I don't know, I lost count, I think that's right, then you can release it and it will still be in your balance point. Forgive me if I did too many, I wasn't counting. Okay, so let's try that with box step. And then I'll show it to you with Arabic double turn, because again, Arabic double turn and basket, one of my favorite move variations. So get into your shimmy, raise your basket overhead, engage the elbows, lower the basket to your head, find your balance point, test it. Okay, you're ready, put your arms down. Now into box step. Let's just do a regular one first. Now we'll get ready for the cue for the turn. So when I'm cueing for the turn, I'm putting my right arm up, my left hand's grabbing my basket, turn and release at the, you know, I guess on and, whenever you can release, whenever it's balanced. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is a challenging one, I know, but it'll be fun for you to practice and see if you can get it to remain balanced. So the same grab and turn applies whether we're doing quasi, whether we go into single bump. You know, in single bump, it's fine to do a gradual turn, no problem keeping the basket. But if I'm going to cue into half turn, I'm going to grab the basket as I do my half turn. So it just gives us more ability to do more moves in the basket balance hold. And it looks cool. So Arabic double turn with a balanced basket. Ooh, I love this one. Let me show it to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Grab, spin, spin, lift, off. So I'm just grabbing on and before the spin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I'm grabbing on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. 6, 7, 8. So let me do it from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Grab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release. Doesn't that look cool? Don't y'all love that? I love that. Okay, so let's drill a little bit balanced. I'm going to put on a much slower song. Let's see. Much slower. Probably too slow for fast, but that's okay. Okay, how is that for a little taste of balance? It really is just about practicing. And, you know, sometimes when we're teaching students, we tell them, carry a book around on your head, carry a basket around on your head. The carrying the sword around the house on the head has never really worked for me. I don't have a big enough house to navigate that. But you absolutely can walk around with a basket on your head.
Sorry. Just to make it clear, so box step, the single bump and half turn Gawazi, you just always can hold it with your left hand. Just
yes.
That's
yep.
just yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anytime we do a turn that is not a gradual turn, we grab the basket.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and like I said, it allows a larger number of moves that you can do in a balanced position than you might otherwise. You saw threw in a push forward back. You know, the key to that is not to, you know, your body moves around your head. So that is what makes that one a good one to do. And you can experiment. I mean, when we first started doing baskets, it was right after Volume 9 came out. And so we were like, okay, does this work? Does this work? You know, just trying things. And so, and some of us in Dyneema were better at balancing baskets than others. So let me just point of clarification. So I keep talking about Dyneema in past tense. So after reunion this year, Dawn retired and we dissolved the troop because I had other things that I wanted to do. And, you know, running a big troop takes a lot of time. And so right now, Dyneema is just Dawn and I. So it's not a big troop anymore because we dissolved that piece of it. So sometimes I'm using present tense, sometimes I'm using past tense, but just because I don't want that to be confusing. So right now, operating under Dyneema is just, that name is just Dawn and I, because the troop, you know, we dissolved, so she could retire and I could do other stuff. So. But this is obviously the basket dialect that she and I created, and she is super excited that I am getting it out there everywhere because she is having a break. So are y'all ready to move to slow? I am really, really all about the slow. So before reunion, Dawn and I recorded the fast basket class. Of course, we got back from reunion in January and the pandemic hit, and then everything was online. So our fast basket class being available online was like, so, you know, everything is online. So what we were planning to do in the spring that we have not gotten to do because of social distancing is to record the slow basket dialect, you know, the whole vocabulary, because the fast class includes everything and so much more than we did on the DVD. So I am really, really happy to be able to give you like a look into the slow that we don't have packaged yet, and to be able to teach you some of those moves. So just like we would use Arabic or shimmy step to move the basket around in fast, you guessed it, we're going to use Taksim or reverse Taksim to move the basket around in slow. So if I want to move the basket to a left arm hold, then I just go into Taksim and just move it to a left arm hold. Same thing, you know, maybe I feel like reverse Taksim and I want to get it overhead. So I just go into reverse Taksim and, you know, balance it or whatever. So not super complex. And just like the fast, there are moves that are designed to transition the basket position. So we didn't get into but so many of those for the fast, but there are a lot of them. And the same is true for the slow. So the first two moves I'm going to teach you in the slow basket vocabulary are wraparound and Sara. And these moves we use to get the basket from left arm hold to two hand hold. So both of these moves, no matter how you start them, always end up in a two hand hold. And like wraparound, you can do it left arm or two hands. But I'm trying not to get super confusing today, so that's why I'm just teaching you one version of each of these moves so that it doesn't get super confusing. So let me show you wraparound, starting left arm and ending two hands, and then I'll break it down. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. And I'll go backwards because I think that's the easiest. So the gathering cue is exactly the same. Your left arm is just still, but your right arm is, you know, pulling in front of your right shoulder. You're turning the strong reverse floreo, you know, strong, whether you do your on the ball of your foot or flat, you know, the strong look to the back. The key to this move is to keep the basket horizontal. So you want to make sure it's not going wonky as you're turning, because that's part of what creates that strong illusion in this move from the back. And then you're lifting and looking to the back to see the speed of the turn from your leader, just like you normally would. But when it's time to turn, when the back left person cues the turn, you're grabbing the basket, pulling it low belly, and then up, just like we've been doing. Low belly and then up, just like we scoot for Arabic and all of those. So from behind, the gather, the back, your head goes to the back to watch for the spin cue. And then when you get the cue, you grab the basket and you put it vertical and then overhead horizontal. Low belly vertical, overhead horizontal, just like we've been doing. Hold on. Oh, stretch out if you need to. I just got a little muscle cramp. Woo, okay. Gather, reverse floreo, head to the back, turn. And I end up really being here until I'm coming to the front, and then I kind of swoop up fast, because for me, wraparound turn is just, it's hard because you're coming to a different direction to start the turn. So I tend to like be low belly until I'm coming to the front. So gather, reverse floreo, watch for the turn, grab the basket, and do the turn. How's that? Somebody unmuted. Let me make sure everybody's muted. We're not having interference. Okay, I got them muted, I think. Okay, so questions about that? Let's do it a few times before we add in any other moves, but I'm going to do slow just like I did fast. I'm going to teach you 2 or 3 and then we'll drill them. So you're in whatever, you get the basket over to your left arm, cue it, still do the head movements. You want to make sure that you keep the basket on the same plane as your body, because when you turn around, it's easy to let the basket move. But you don't want the basket to move, you want the basket to stay on the same plane as your arms. So gather, stay on the same plane, up, grab it, and around. Do y'all get what I mean by stay on the same plane? Like if I'm doing regular wraparound, particularly if we're doing it in a circle, then this left arm might be, is a little bit behind my right arm because of the twist involved. But with the basket, we don't want the basket to be back, so we don't go into as big of a twist, because we want the line to be flat. To the audience, we don't want the basket back. Does that make sense? This is the kind of stuff that's really hard to show on video, but I think y'all get that. It's like Kelly's question about the choo-choo. Our arm and our chest is in a slightly different position because we're holding the basket. Okay, so gather, reverse floreo, cue the turn. Oops. I gotta remember which my front is. Okay, is that good? Are y'all ready to move on to Sarah? And then, Michelle.
Yeah, can I just ask, so when you come from here and you take the basket, are you moving it down across you that way?
Perfect. Yes. Yes.
Yes, this way. Okay.
Yep. And yeah, so down across you this way and then up.
And then up. Okay.
Yep. So just think that when we're doing turns with a basket and we leave our left shoulder, we tend to stop in at our low belly.
Okay.
And it's just, you know, as we, like y'all know, we developed this dialect over 10 years. And so there's a lot of refinement that went into it. And to make everyone look the same doing it, it helps to have those touch points. So if everybody's going, you know, just kind of like willy-nilly up, then everybody's not going to look the same. If we low belly and then up, then all of our movement is going to look very synchronized. So we just try to hit those touch points. Yeah, good. Great question. These are such good questions. Thank you guys for doing them. Okay, so now let's do Sara, one of what I think is the most beautiful slow basket movements. I just love Sara anyway, don't y'all? So let me show you what it looks like and then I'll break it down. And look at me, I'm ending it on my left hip. That's a surprise that I did not tell you about. But I'm going to teach you about left hip, which nobody knows except for you. Well, that's not true. I taught it in Germany too, so they know. Okay, so left hip hold is something that we added in because it gives so much beautiful kind of variety. And one of my favorite basket pictures is us doing wraparound in left hip hold. We did slow basket for a reunion one year, and I was actually supposed to, no, it was this year that I'm supposed to teach slow basket at reunion. And I'll tell you another secret. You want to know another secret? Reunion is probably going to happen this year. We are looking into virtual platforms. So we just met last week, and I'm pretty sure we're going to do it. So, but this low hip position, this left hip position, I just think is gorgeous, and you can do a lot of moves in it. And so your elbow is engaged. Again, big difference. This looks like you're hauling something. This looks like you're dancing. So we want to have our elbow engaged. So, and I'll tell you, after I teach you Sara, I'll tell you what you can do. Basically, anything that you do in left arm hold, you can do in left hip hold. So, start with Sara overhead. Our initial dip for Sara is now going to be a basket dip. So I am bringing the basket about level with my left hip. But look what I'm doing with my elbows. I'm not doing this. I'm keeping them engaged as I bring it down so that I'm creating this very strong look, just like the look that we're supposed to be getting with Sara. So initial drop. And then, you know, the first turn is that table thing and back down. So that's what we're doing with the basket too. I'm crossing the front of my body. I'm doing just a little circle at the top and then bringing it back to the hip. So just like our hand does that, our basket's going to do that. So start from the beginning, down to the left hip, cross the body, little circle, and then back down to the left hip. So one more time, that's the hardest part. Down to the left hip, elbows engaged, chest lifted, cross under the chin, little tiny circle overhead, back to the left hip, elbows engaged, chest lifted. One more time the beginning and then we'll go on. Drop, circle, back to the left hip. Okay, for the second turn in Sara, we're going to do a basket switch from horizontal to vertical. Now, we don't count slow, so you just have to watch. So I'm coming up, and before what I would normally do with the crossing my foot, my right foot to the back to make that second Sara turn, when I cross my foot, before I come down the right side, I'm going to go vertical. and then I'm going to bring the basket to my left hip, and this is what it looks like from the front. Okay, so the second piece, basket comes up, flip when I adjust my feet, basket down and vertical on my right hip. Okay, this is the other slightly tricky part, because when I turn over this right shoulder, I am going to let the basket come back to horizontal as I'm turning, and then it will end in the horizontal low hip. This is really the most complicated move we're going to learn today, but it's the one that looks the best. So you're going to be so happy when you know it. Okay, all of that really slow again. The initial drop to the left hip, cross the front of your body as you turn, do the just tiny little circle overhead, back to the left hip. Everything stays horizontal. Over your head, as I switch my foot position, I flip the basket. I let the basket, with my elbows engaged, travel down the right side of my body. And then this is where you have to make sure your elbows engaged, or you won't have room for this basket to go horizontal. And this is where, as I'm turning to the back, I'm letting the basket go horizontal, so that when I finish the move for that final arm sweep, the basket is on my hip. Okay, let's drill it a few times. Well, first, anybody want to see anything else before we drill it a few times? Okay. I'm not going to count. I always want to count, but it's slow. We don't count. So down, cross, stays horizontal, back down, lost my balance, up, horizontal, switch foot and basket at the same time, comes down the right side vertical, and then switch to horizontal for that final turn and the finishing of the move. Dip, cross under your chin, around, back down, up, switch, switch. Okay, I'm going to do it. Oh, let's put on music. Let's put on music and drill the wraparound and the Sara, and then we'll see if, when we're actually dancing it, you have any questions. There's so much to get in. We need another 2 hours. Who wants to stay? I'm just kidding. I couldn't teach another 2 hours. I'd fall out. like how I snuck in that left hip wraparound? But you did it, didn't you? I bet you did. All you did was grab it down and up, just like we do with the left shoulder. So see, you can do anything that you want to with the left hip that you do with the left shoulder. So questions about those slow moves? Okay, so
I just
yeah.
wondered, when you've got your basket on your you're coming in for the Sara, are you having your basket flat or are you just tipping it slightly? Because it's hard to tell in the video. Is it very flat or?
Yeah, it should be very flat. I think the fisheye is messing with it a little bit, but every time my basket is horizontal, it's as flat as you can get it.
Yeah,
and
here.
Every time my basket is vertical, it's as flat to the front as you can get it. So, and that takes a lot of practice to make sure that you're not tipping. And the only way really to do that is to videotape yourself and see whether you're tipping the basket. Because when you're learning the moves, you can do them really slow and you can watch in the mirror if you have a mirror. But then when you start dancing for real, it's being able to adjust the movements that you know you tip. So we didn't get to any of the Egyptian. The way we do Egyptian with basket is just a little bounce. And that's a time that people tip because they're not holding it enough. But if you don't videotape yourself and watch yourself, you may think you're holding it flat. But there are some common times that people end up tipping the basket. Excuse me, and that's one of them.
Okay. When you're doing a taksim, I couldn't see, how close is the basket to your body? Are you kind of holding it right in front of your, oh, around there, okay.
Yeah, because I want my elbows to have the same look. I mean, you know, it's not this, but I want to create a similar illusion to that strong lift. You know, so I am a few inches from my body. Yeah. So when I go from like here, and honestly, we don't really do taksim with a low hip, but I don't know. I tried it. I thought it looked pretty good. You know, I am, as I pull something off my body, I am creating space. So if I pull it off my body, I am creating space away from my body. Does that help?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Shall we move on? I think we should. Wrap and Sara are awesome, but I want to show you, let's see, I want to show you camel. Oh, there's so much. I'm going to show you camel, and then we're going to go to the barrel reverse turn rainbow family, and that's probably all we'll have a chance to get in today. I want to show you camel because I'm experimenting with a new way to do camel. Dawn and I worked on it for a while, and then we threw it out because we didn't like it. But for this tour, I've kind of pulled it back out. And I think that if everybody's brain is working on it, y'all might come up with something cool, because there's two ways that we do camel. And one way is in a right hand hold. Well, camel right now is the only move we do in a right hand hold, which is why we threw it out. So let's put all of our big brains together after this, and I'd love to hear if you have ideas of other moves that work in a right hand hold. So for camel with baskets, there's no position where that really looks good to end with the torso twist holding the basket. So we end camel with basket the way you end loco camel, by crossing that left leg over and turning over your right shoulder. So that's how we end camel with basket. So here's what it looks like. Belly up, we stay consistent, down to the right, up to the left, cross belly up. So let me do it from the back. down to the right, so diagonal, definitely diagonal. Diagonal under the chin, up to the left. And then I'm crossing, hitting belly, coming up. Right, under the chin, left, cross belly, up, one more time, right. So the right, I'm coming down the right side of my body. To get up to the left, I'm going diagonal, which is why I'm crossing over. Somebody's having trouble and keeps getting in the waiting room. Okay, so this is more of a off to the right and then down, but this is a diagonal across my body. So first half of camel, second half, and then the turn. Okay, so let me show you the right hand thing that
Lisa,
I'm playing with. Yeah.
Kelly here. Just before you carry on, so I'm just wondering why you decided to take the basket up to the left-hand corner rather than coming back up to the right. Because if you do the original step, it would be your right arm that plunges down, so you have your basket down, but then it would be your right arm that plunges up, so that you've got that long diagonal shape with your right arm and your left leg.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what made you decide to alter it to the other side?
That is a good question, and I honestly don't remember. That's a move we created, or we adapted, I think, before the DVD, so it's been like 8 years probably, and I don't have any idea. The way that we created all of these moves is Dawn and I would be in the airport, we'd be at one of our houses in the den, and we'd experiment with different ways. We'd videotape it, we'd think about it, we'd go back to it, we'd watch it, we'd experiment some more, until we finally landed on stuff. But your question actually brings up a really good point, which is I want you to take this and make it your own. So if you feel like it looks good to do a torso twist with the basket on your left shoulder hold, and you don't want to end camel the way we are ending camel, or you want to switch it and have the basket move differently, please do that. I mean, this is your gift from us, and you take it and you make it work for you. And, sometimes I like someone to tell me what to do, because there's just like a relaxing thing about that, about someone telling me how to do it, and then I do it the way they tell me to. But other times, I think for me, particularly in fat chant style, I long for the ability to infuse my own creativity in it, rather than everything being someone telling me what to do. So the basket dialect, I want you to infuse your own creativity into it. You don't have to do it the way we do it. You can say inspired by Dainishma basket dialect. You don't have to, so please take it, play with it. I would love to see if you come up with other ideas about how to do things. One of the most exciting things for me about doing this world tour this summer, in addition to raising money for charity, which I think is awesome, and thank you all for doing that, is that this is exposing so many more brains to this, and I just can't wait to see what people come up with. I just think there's going to be so much creativity out of it, and I'm so excited about that. So yeah, I have no idea. I can barely remember what I had for dinner last night. I certainly can't remember how we decided this shit 8 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was. Okay.
Thank you.
So here's the part that, take it, play with it, decide if you like it. So I am taking my hand along the edge of my basket, and I'm holding the basket in my left hand, and I'm sliding my palm. Now, for those of you who waited tables to work your way through school, as I did, you are completely comfortable with this. This is the way you lived your life, was, holding a basket on, or holding a tray of food on the palm of your hand. For other folks, it may not be as simple of a position, or it may not feel like it works as well. So, again, like I said, we initially threw it out. So if you don't like it, ignore it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm grabbing it. I'm putting my palm as I'm doing Taksim, and then I'm dipping. And this is more the correct arm pattern. And I am ending with tuck seam for this. Not tuck seam, torso twist for this. So this is more kind of your traditional. And I don't know, I think it looks okay. But what we need is some other moves out of this right position, because I don't ever think it's good to have a dialect with a hold that you would only do for one move. I don't think it's practical. So we're not even going to practice that. I just wanted to show it to you because then maybe you'll have some cool ideas. So camel. Okay, here's what I want to do. The whole barrel, reverse, and rainbow are kind of similar in how we execute them. So I want to teach you those three, and then we'll drill all of this slow stuff. And I know this is not ideal. I know we're going super fast, but I just want you to like have the content so you can play with it. So, okay, so let me show you barrel, reverse, and rainbow. I'll dance it for you, and then I'll teach it to you. Make sure you can see the basket. So finish in that barrel. You can, of course, go into another barrel. Reverse turn. And then rainbow. This is actually one I changed for the tour. I showed Dawn what I changed it to. She liked it. Okay, so barrel. Barrel and reverse can get confusing in performance, in particular. And so we added a little heads up for barrel because you're turning the basket over your head to vertical. And it looks the same when you're doing it for reverse turn or for barrel. So for barrel, excuse me, we added a slight dip. It's just a heads up. This is barrel, not reverse turn. So in tuck seam, whatever, heads up barrel, and then immediately go to vertical as we're coming down the right side. You want to make sure that you keep the basket, the inside of the basket, pointing towards your audience as you come around. Sometimes people get wonky with the basket. Down the left side. And then as we're turning, we go to horizontal. Now, just like regular barrel, we can go into another barrel. We don't have to do the dip again. You know, everybody will be watching for it. We just go vertical, execute the beginning of another barrel. Looks so pretty. Go to horizontal, overhead. Now, your cue that you're done with barrel is just like a regular barrel. You add an arm sweep for that. So we do it with baskets too. And that's the signal to everybody, hey, I'm done. I'm not going to keep doing barrels. So you're in whatever move, tuck seam, cue the barrel, go immediately to vertical, get your nice good twist and angle, go to horizontal. As you're coming overhead, you can go into another barrel. But when you're done, you want to make that final horizontal basket arm sweep. And, you know, when you just make a circle with the basket in front of you, it looks pretty. I mean, you know, we want to take advantage of the fact that our props look good just when we're showing them off like that. So to end the barrel like that. Okay, questions about the barrel. Okay, reverse turn. So reverse turn, we are going to cue it by going vertical immediately. That's why the dip for, so vertical and then planting it on our right hip. So we want it to be facing the audience. We don't want it to be back. You know, we want the whole inside of the basket to show up. We're crossing that right leg back. and we're leaving it right where it is. So see, it's resting on my side. My elbows engaged, or it should be. And then I'm turning, and it's still in the same position. And then I grab it to bring it overhead for the end. So vertical, keep it same spot, and then go horizontal overhead. So pretty simple. To me, what happens with this move is people get in their own way. They think because we so often move the basket when we turn, they think they're supposed to shift it as we're turning. But for this one, it just stays planted where you put it. So, and that is a whole lot of basket, is remembering which happens for which. And that's one of the things that in the online class, we drill all of the fast moves where the basket goes vertical, all of the, you know, fast moves where you switch it from one shoulder to two hand, all of that, so that you can categorize and it can go in your brain better. Yeah.
Just for the bow turn, you're always keeping the inside to the audience.
Yes.
Quite. Oh, okay. So you have to switch it, but it's always inside.
Yep. So it is moving. So my hands are moving around it.
Yeah.
So I'm switching to thumbs as I'm low, switching to thumbs on the inside, and then I bring it up, and my thumbs are on the inside, and then down. So yeah. So basically, it starts out in this position with my fingers holding it. And as I come down to the bottom, I have to switch. Yep. Good catch. Good catch. Yeah.
Yeah. Switch. Yeah. Okay. So I have to switch the hands.
Yes. Yep. And just to keep it so you're showing the inside of your basket to the audience for that one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's reverse. Okay. Rainbow. Rainbow, also pretty simple. You know, I cue into it either from overhead by dropping down, or if I'm in this position, I'll probably do a full kind of rainbow to get it over. So elbows engaged, just like always, and I'm sitting into that hip. And then, you know, I'm doing the same thing with my head. That first and second floreo, you're bringing it to the front, you're leaving it to the front for the end of this. Now, when I switch my hip from my weight being in my left hip to my weight being in my right hip, that's when I turn the basket vertical. And then I just do the same, you know, making sure the head does what it's supposed to do, just the same over to the other side. So like the other moves, you know, it looks way better when your elbows are engaged versus when they're, you know, weak elbows. So that's one that you want to practice with this one. But that's when I shift the basket. I shift the basket when I am shifting weight. Turn the basket when I'm shifting weight. Yeah. Okay. Let's drill the slow moves and see if you have any questions. Sorry, the fisheye makes me look kind of crazy when I get close to the camera, but at least you can see my whole body. we're going to keep drilling slow for a minute, but first I want to see if there's any questions before we keep drilling. Yeah, Sorella.
In the reverse turn, your basket stay on your right hips even after the turn?
Yeah, so there's actually multiple ways to do it. So I'm just showing you one version where I keep it on my left hip. But there's, oh wait, do you mean for reverse?
Yes, reverse
oh,
turn.
For reverse, yes. Yeah, so it stays on my right. It's actually more my belly. It's more resting against my belly and on top of my hip. It's more that position. But yeah, it stays while I turn and then it lifts off. Yep. Other questions about technique before we drill some more? Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to unpin me. I'm going to unspotlight me. So you can go up to the 3 dots above my picture and you can pin me, but I'm unspotlighting so that I can take a little video clip of us all doing the slow basket, you know, and like just put it on Instagram or something, just a quick clip. So if you don't want to be in a quick clip, then turn your camera off and I will hide everybody that is hide non-video participants. Okay, so then we'll just have a nice little clip. And then at the end, we'll do a picture, but for this. So you can still spotlight me. It won't make any difference how I'm recording it. Okay, so back to slow. we'll just do a little basket just to sway, a little balance. Okay, how was that? Questions, comments? Okay, so let's do a quick picture and then we'll cool down and then I'll kind of tell you about other stuff. So now we're all sweaty, not just the people who did class before. If you want to join in the picture, then come turn your camera on. I'll give you a minute. Yes, lovely, lovely. There's Kelly, awesome. Janet, we can only see the top of your head. We can only see your ceiling. There we go, awesome. Yes, if you want the picture to include your basket, then please get your basket. It does not have to be balanced. So I'm gonna count to 3 and then hold tight because I have to make sure that when I snip it across, I get it all. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let me make sure that I catch the whole picture. Don't cut anybody off. I did it, yay. Okay, awesome. So let's do a cool down. We have definitely used a lot of upper body that, you know, in different ways than we do with regular dance. So you may be sore. So we're going to cool down and then we'll talk just for a minute before I let you go on time. Although I don't want to let you go. The bad thing about doing this not in person is that there's not the, you know, the dialogue that I love. Okay. Okay, we have officially 3 minutes for questions, although I don't have anything I have to jump onto, so I'm happy to stay as long as y'all have questions and want to ask. So, what do you think? Did you like it? For those of y'all that haven't done it before?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. Kelly will get us a accounting of how much money we raised, but I so appreciate her and all of y'all doing this. You know, I decided that I have limited funds as a single parent, and I also have limited ability to like go out and protest in the US and do different things because my dad lives with me. So I have to be really careful about getting out of the house. So I decided that I would do this tour as a way to, you know, kind of make an impact on the world right now and donating to people that need it. And, you know, so it's kind of, I can't get out and protest and I don't have lots of money to give to charity. So, but I do have time and I can give that. And thank you guys for joining the workshop. So let me tell you about a couple of things. So I forgot to announce it for Germany and Poland, but I'll message them because I want to do a cookbook, a Baskets for Relief cookbook. So I will get Kelly a Google form if you want to contribute a recipe, you know, because the whole idea of community and coming together and baskets and, you know, and I think it would just be really fun to have a worldwide recipe book. And my child, who's 20, who has been my social media manager this summer because her job got canceled, she said she'd put it together, and she's self-published before. She's self-published poetry, so I think it would be really fun. And then if you want to be on a mailing list to hear about anything else that's coming up, then just go to my website. I figured out this week how to make it do a pop-up. So I ask you if you want to join the mailing list. So I haven't yet sent an email because I'm just learning how to do all of this, but I do have a stage presence challenge coming up with Angie Never and Wildcard and Melanie Bastillas in September. And I have some other like fun stuff planned for the rest of the year. In fact, last night when I was laying in bed, I thought of another basket idea that I'm going to try to hit for November. So anyway, if you want to stay in touch, I would love for you to. And yeah, oh, if you do decide that you want to do the Fast Basket class, we already at the beginning of the pandemic made it so that people could take the class at the troop rate. So we were giving a discount if a troop signed up together, so that was $50. But with the tour, I'm giving an additional 20% off. So that makes the class $40, which is a crazy value because you have lifetime access and there's like 15 videos and it's full of instruction by Dawn and I and drilling by a bunch of Dianishma members. And so if you're interested in that, then just let me know. And I don't remember what I said the code was, but I'll figure it out and tell you what the code is. I can go look and see what I created. I can't remember very well. So any questions, anything that you want to ask me or say?
This particular class there'll be a link for 1 month. Is that correct?
Yes. So, yeah, so I will send Kelly the link. What I am doing, oh yeah, definitely, Roanne. I know you were having some issues. I could see that you kept getting booted off. So definitely you can have access to the recording. So what I've been doing, I have a student portal on my website that's password protected where I load in classes and content. And so I've been putting the basket workshops on the student portal. So I will send Kelly all of the information on how to get to it. You know, the student portal is 100% honor-based. So if you go in there and something else, you're interested in it, then just take it and just PayPal me for it. So, but I'll leave that up for a month. So you have access to it. But then I am going to take it down after that because I am going to continue offering basket-related stuff. So
yeah.
Good. Well, and if you just love this so much you can't get enough of it, we're going to have another one in France, and we're going to have one in Costa Rica, and in Brazil, and in the U.S. There's like, I don't know, 6 in August, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. But so you can always come back and do it again.
Yeah. Well, can I just say a huge thank you to you, Lisa, for donating your time, and everybody for joining in and donating to the Sister to Sister projects. Right now in Congo, then people are having a rough time because, you know, there's not only the poverty, but now that this virus is around, then for many of them, if the virus doesn't make them ill or kill them, then the poverty issue might, because they can't self-isolate like we can. So Soraya in France is also, her basket workshop is also supporting our Sister to Sister project. So we're getting a double dose thanks to Lisa. So, and I also want to thank Magali as well for choosing our charity. But you can be assured that the ladies out there that we're helping will be just so thrilled to know that we're all on their side and rooting for them. And I'm really sorry, Lisa, I was having such problems with my video.
Oh, no
I was
problem.
losing, well, in the end I just switched it off because I wanted to see you. So yeah, just huge thank you to all of you for joining in, and I'll let you know exactly how much money we've raised.
And I have a great idea. Let's make the cookbook a fundraiser for Sister to Sister too.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
Let's do that too. And then I will pay, like I pay my child $20 an hour, so I'll pay her, and then whatever is left after I pay her, then we'll donate to Sister to Sister. So let's just plan on it. Let's just decide it right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. So Lisa, what some of you may not know is Lisa, in some of the photographs, looks as though she's appeared in the photographs twice, and that's because she is actually an identical twin. And her identical twin sister, Terry, was very instrumental in getting our sewing workshop off the ground. She helped me by putting together a Start Some Good campaign to get our sewing workshop started initially. So between these two girls, these two wonderful twins, these wonderful sisters, I've had a lot of support for the Sister to Sister project. So huge thanks to both of them.
Thank you.
Well, and thanks to all of you. And it was so fun to dance with you today. I mean, this is really what's helping me not be depressed right now, is doing stuff like this and seeing all of your beautiful faces and dancing with friends that I haven't danced with in a long time. And thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you, Kelly, for organizing that. That was also really lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
How could we not?
Yeah, really, yes.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to talk people into it. Let me do a workshop for free, and you get to pick the charity all the money goes to. So it wasn't a hard sell when I was shopping it around. So, but it really just is so meaningful to me to be able to. For this to give me a chance to be able to do the things that I want to do in the world right now with, you know, helping other people in a meaningful way. So.
Yeah, well, it came at the right time because I was just starting. I just got a basket and I was just starting to fiddle with it. Having watched different.
I like that, Julia. Fiddle with it.
Well, and I don't know how bad shipping is from the U.S., but I do have Baskets of Africa, which is the vendor that Dionysia used, has agreed to give all of my basket tour students 10% off. So it's not a ton, and it might not even cover shipping from the U.S. But if you're interested in that, again, I don't remember what that password is, so I'll have to figure it out and send it to you. But you're welcome to do that if you want.
Okay.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful
you.
day.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you again soon. Be well.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.